Everyone wants to know, should you roll or buy legendaries in Once Human? And I'm going to answer that question for you today. So for those that don't know what I'm talking about, in this game is called the Wish Machine. And you can either go to the blueprint shop like so, and spend 8,000 of your starchrom to just straight up buy the full recipe, or do that for armor. Or you can play a little gotcha game where you get to smash and smack your mallet into these little llama characters, and you get a % chance to get a reward. Might be what you want, might be fragments to help you build what you want, might be something you don't need at all. So how do we determine, should you just buy it, or is it cheaper to roll for it? And I'm going to answer that question for you today. Now, you must be aware that not everything has equal odds. Depending on what your build is, what armor you want, what weapons you want, every single one of these little gotcha games here has different odds. So I'm going to be teaching you and giving you a few examples of how you can determine if it's worth just straight up buying for 8,000 or if you should roll for it. Step number 1 is finding the item that you want in the different games here. Now, because the server I'm on is still in phase 1, I can't play any of these other ones yet, but that just means I have to hold on for a week or two until I open up. Now, the weapon that I want for my build for this character is the SOCR, the Last Valor. This is a shrapnel-based weapon, and let's find out the odds. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click this. I'm going to highlight the Herald of Courage. That's where the prize I want is. I'm going to then click this yellow exclamation point, and that's going to give us a whole lot of text with a whole lot of odds and roll values and a whole lot of stuff. And I'm going to explain what all of this means and how we're going to use these numbers to determine our odds. So first and foremost, at the very top is going to tell you the last reward explanation. Now what this means is that when you completely empty out this game machine, that you receive this automatically. So let me explain what that looks like and how that works. Let's go to Echoes from the Rift. So you can see here that there are 20 holes. And whenever I smash a mallet into the llama, or whatever these Mr. Wishes, whatever they're called, I don't know, I think it's a llama, it will then claim one of these rewards. And once all of these rewards are claimed, you then receive your last reward prize for free. It's basically a failsafe so you don't constantly fail and dump your currency and get nothing. Now, first thing we're going to look at, the first number is the most important one here, and this is the % odds of the bracket. So what that means is that I have a 5% chance when I smash the mallet into the llama to get this prize, which is exactly what I want. So this is to obtain complete. This means that I have a 5% chance when I spend currency on this game to get this completed. Not a fragment, but the actual weapon unlocked fully, which is really nice. And if I fail, I get fragments, which you use fragments to upgrade, so it's not a complete loss, right? Now, this one is also a 5% chance for the blueprint fragments. So when you mouse over it, it still shows the weapon, but you're not winning the weapon. You're winning the blueprints for the weapon, and this is usually 10 or 15. Now, on this menu, it won't tell you how many fragments we're getting. One of Legendary's weapon blueprint fragments. Now, that's with an S, but if you go into the game itself, you can mouse over the fragments. So this is, that's the blueprint. That's the blueprint. Blueprint. Here we go. So in this version of the game, I would win 10 armor fragments, okay? And armor requires 80 fragments to unlock. Same with guns of the legendary quality. So what this means is most likely Herald of Courage here, for this one right here, it could be 15, it could be 20. I don't know until the game unlocks, but we need 80 of them to be able to craft the weapon and, fuse it. So you're going to have to keep this into consideration. And there's only one prize pool to get just fragments. So you're going to need to win the complete one in order to actually craft it. You can't just hit this one. All right, now this one's 10% for some rares. Now, because my build does not use these weapons, these are absolutely useless unless I melt down the fragments, which these are complete, though. These are not fragments. These are complete. So here we go, 10% for rarity. I think you guys get the idea. So essentially, we add all the numbers up. 60% here, 10% here, 10, 10, 5, and 5, and that makes 100. So that's the first thing that you need to look at, okay? Now, within a bracket, this gets a little more complicated if you're not rolling for one thing. So, for instance, to get the gun, that we want, we have a 5% chance. End of, the math is done. That's easy. However, if you're calculating armor rolls, it's way harder. Let me explain, okay? So, we're going to go down to Ignis Disillusion here, and I believe Ignis Disillusion has no, this is another weapon one. Okay, Caged Prisoner. Caged Prisoner is an armor one. This is where the math gets wild, and this is how we're going to calculate it. So, for my specific build, I want the Renegade set. This is what I want for my build. I want 4 pieces of the Renegade set. Now, these are complete. These are not just blueprints. These are complete. But still, I have a 20% chance. Let's say that, I got the boots already or something, right? I have a 20% chance when I buy this one to get, 1 out of 4, right? So, we're going to go over that math later, but there are even more complex ones that I do want to talk about. Let's try Firemaster. Firemaster has a lot of armors. Let's see here. So here we go. Step 2 is finding the odds of the drop that you want. So for instance, this is legendary chance, or 10%, to obtain the rarity blueprint fragments for legendary armor. So since I want the Renegade set, instead of paying 8,000 per piece, I can pay 500 on Echoes from the Rift for a 10% chance to receive blueprint fragments obtainable from, well, all the armor sets. Now, the probability of drawing the one, is 1 in 24. So, we have a 10% chance and then a 1 in 24 chance to get what we want. So yeah, I'm gonna dump some text onto you real quick. We have a 10% chance for a 1 in 24 chance to get the armor that I want. Except that's not really the case, and I'll explain. So, to get an item from the set I want, which is the Renegade set, it's actually 6 out of 24, but it's not really, because I don't want my helmet slot to change, because that's my key item for my build. I need my barrette for the shrapnel build. I also don't want one other piece of the Renegade set, since I only need 4 pieces for the complete set bonus. I would be okay with the with one from Lone Wolf for my build currently. So my actual odds of successfully getting the blueprint fragments, which I need 80 of, are 4 in 24, which reduces down to 1 in 6. Now let me show you the odds of that, okay? Alright, so this is for the first draw, and I'm going to explain what that means too. So we're going to take that 10%, we're going to convert that to a decimal, or 0.1, convert the 1/6 into a decimal, so 1 divided by 6 is 1.667-ish. Then we're going to multiply the 0.1 times the 0.1667, which is 0.1667. All right. Then we're going to multiply that number by 100, which, to get our percentage, that is a 1.667% chance to get the armor blueprint fragment that we want, and we need 80 of those to craft the armor. 1.667% chance. And I want you to know right now, every single bop of the hammer is going to cost you 500 starchrom. But it's not so bad. It sounds bad, but it's not so bad. And let me explain why. So, in Echoes from the Rift, once you complete the 6 blueprints here, you have a 60% chance to complete 6 of these. That's eliminated. And that percentage will then go into everything else. Now, for the epic chance for these, you have 1. So once you hit this, you can't hit it again. The hole gets closed off. And then you move on, and those percentages get added to everything else. So it's a little weird with the math when this starts happening, right? But the more bops you do, the ever so slightly higher percent chance that you get. But in this specific one, Echoes from the Rift, there's only 2 of the legendary armor blueprint fragments. What this means is that once you win 2 of these fragments, oh, and here it is, fragments times 10. So even if you were to win that 1.667% chance to get the armor that you want, you would have 20 out of 80 blueprints and still not be able to craft it, okay? And then, this is mostly for the legendary chance to have a complete weapon, and then you finally also get a 15 fragment. So if you want to play Echoes from the Rift to get your armor sets, you're doing it wrong, because it's impossible. If you blow all your starchrom knocking out every challenge, you still can't craft a legendary armor. You'll have a legendary weapon, a random one, and you'll have fragments for legendary armors and some completed some epics, but you won't get a single freaking legendary armor. So the real odds of hitting the armor that you want on Echoes from the Rift is 0. And because on week 1, gear is very important for scaling your PvP, it's recommended on week 1 that you spend your starchrom on the things that you need. But let's keep doing more odds. Alright, step 3 is calculating if it's worth gambling or buying, which is why you clicked on the video, and let me deliver that right now. So, back to our main example. I want the SOCR, the Last Valor. I want the actual complete blueprint, because this is the weapon I want. I can buy it for 8,000. As you can see, I have 8,000 in the corner there. And should I roll for it or buy it? So, here's what we're going to do, right? So, 8,000 is the buy now price. And I'm going to tell you right now, before I tell you how to do the math, the average percent chance when simulated 10,000 times is about 12 gambles to win this weapon. 12. And I know that doesn't make a whole lot of sense because on average you think, well, a 5% chance would be 20. It should be 20. And no, that's not correct. And the reason why is every time you win anything else from these prize pools, your odds of winning what you want go up substantially. So let me explain. Now, because my odds of getting this on average are 12, that's only 6,000 starchrom, okay, instead of 8,000. So the answer to this this problem is yes, I should gamble for the Last Valor and not buy it straight up. However, if you're unlucky, you're going to end up paying more. But let me just show you some of the math. Not all of it, just some of it. So for Herald of Courage, here is our odds of winning. Now, we want to win Prize A, which we have a 5% chance to win. All right? So Prize B is a 5% chance, but there's 1 in stock. Prize C and Prize D and Prize E are also 10% chance with 2 in stock. And Prize F is 60% with 12 in stock. So right now, our odds are 5%. So let's say we smash the hammer down, we win a prize from Prize F. There are now 11 in stock, and then 10 in stock, and 9 in stock. And so if we keep hitting Prize F, our percent chance to win Prize A remains at 5%. However, let's say that we just won Prize B, that 5% chance, and there's only 1 in stock. So now it is removed from the probability pool, and that 5% is now divided amongst the remaining prize pools so that we can win those instead. And this is what this will look like. So now that Prize B's prize pool is completely out of stock, the percent chance is now divided amongst the remaining prizes. So now we have a 6% chance to win Prize A, which is what we want. Prize C, D, and E went up by 1% to 11%, and Prize F is now at 61%. So now let's take out Prize C. Let's say we empty out Prize C's stock. And now your prize pool looks something like this, which would only give us an 8.75% chance to win Prize A, but you're most likely going to empty out Prize Pool F, which, well, would be unfortunate because, that's 12 rolls and that's 6,000 starchrom. But let's say you win all of Prize F. What is our odds now? So now things are looking pretty juicy here. As you can see, Prize A is now a 30% chance to win, whereas Prize D and Prize E are 35% respectively. But let's say you did win Prize D and emptied its stock out, and then that would leave you with a 47.5% chance to win the prize you want, and a 52.5% chance to not win it. But once you empty out Prize E, you're going to win Prize A, and then you're going to win the grand prize of the whole roll, which in my case is weapon fragments for the weapon that I want to upgrade. So mathematically, it's better if I gamble for this, because again, I could just get it straight up first try, of course. On average, 12 rolls, I'll get this, which is cheaper. But at the same time, I'm helping empty out the Herald of Courage, and when I do, I'm getting fragments anyway. So let's say you have every armor in the game, and you have every weapon in the game unlocked blueprint-wise. And in future wipes, you keep your blueprints, you keep your unlocks. So let's say we're like 6 months into the game, right? We're on our 6th wipe cycle, or no, it'd be 3rd wipe cycle. So we're in our 3rd wipe cycle, and all I give a damn about is upgrading the Last Valor weapon to as high as possible, and I need fragments for that. So what I'm going to do is just dump all my starchrom on getting everything else and just getting the fragments, instead of buying the blueprints straight up. But without any of that, if you don't want to gamble and you don't want to have a percent chance, then paying for it is basically, 1 in 14 odds. So anything above 1 in 14 odds, paying for it is equivalent to that. But because I'm 1 in 12 odds, by doing the extensive math, then it is actually worth it for me for the weapon to, like I said, just gamble for it. But you also have to weigh in your entire build, not just your weapon, not just one piece of your armor. You have to do the odds for every single piece of gear, so you need to plan out your build extensively. For me, I definitely need that weapon I just talked about, but I also need the Renegade set. So in the Caged Prisoner, game, we have 4 legendary blueprints at a 20% chance each. I definitely need the jacket, the boots, and the gloves. I don't need this helmet, though. So that is 20% chance for a 3 out of 4 chance. And I don't know how much the Caged Prisoner costs to roll, but I'm assuming 500 or 1,000. But definitely worth it for me to not buy the armor, the boots, or the gloves in this case. So looking through all the gacha game prizes of this season, this is basically what my build would look like. I need the Last Valor, though it's not high importance because there are other shrapnel weapons I can use in the meantime. I have a build guide coming out soon, so stay tuned for that. But so that's going to cost me an average of 6,000 starchrom. Then I have the helmet. The Barret is free. The mask will be 1 Lone Wolf or 1 Renegade. I just need 1 Lone Wolf, but I need the 4-piece Renegade. But I can get the chest, the gloves, and the shoes from the Caged Prisoner game, and so those will be rolled for. No need to buy those for 8k. So the only things I need to spend 8,000 on are a mask and legs. Everything else will be rolled for, and that is mathematically superior. Now, if you're wondering, well, what other builds besides shrapnel should we do this season? Well, the only 2 builds that are going to be the cheapest on your starchrom for Season 1 is a burn build, using the sheltered set. What is this weapon called here? Hold on. The Boom Boom BP. But you have to wait a long time to get this unlocked, whereas the Boom Boom is currently the best PvE weapon for Phase 1, and it does pretty damn good on Phase 2. I haven't seen anyone really beat it on Phase 2 yet, but that's what I'm trying with the Shrapnel build, because the Shrapnel build really takes off in Phase 2. So those are the 2 builds right now for this entire season that are going to save you the most on starchrom. But hey, if you have a wacky build whatever you want. Just don't be expected to be able to afford it all, on through the season. Now, also, if you're wondering about starchrom, now I was able to push 16,000 of these bad boys in one of my playtests on through Phase 2 or the second week of the game. So just kind of keep that in mind. But after that, starchrom really starts to slow down because a lot of it is hitting level 50, doing the surveys, following all the social medias and all that stuff, which is a one-time thing. And after that, you're basically stuck doing the defense missions over and over and over again. I've tried so many different ways of using alt accounts or clever use of game mechanics to try to get around that, and there is nothing. So you are basically hard capped for a certain amount of starchrom per season. So just be aware of that. And, if you don't want to, roll the odds, like I said, if you have very bad luck when rolling for that weapon, which I showed earlier, your odds are 1 in 20 with the worst luck. If you spend the 8,000 to just straight up buy the item, your odds are basically 1 in 16, but you're eliminating that. So you're potentially saving 2,000 starchrom by buying it if you have bad luck, but if you have good luck, you are throwing away 2,000 starchrom. And so that's basically the math, and it does apply to most things, but when you're doing it for armor, you really have to look. Don't just open the damn machine, pick one that, oh, I want this armor, and start smashing, because that's not a good plan. So I don't expect you to have to do all the math and calculations yourself or anything of the sort. You can try to ask an AI to assist you with the math if you really can't figure this stuff out. But a lot of the AIs out there, at least the free ones, they don't quite understand video game logic and probability and stuff. So I recommend that just ask someone that's very smart to do the math for you if you still can't figure this out. But yeah, that's the video. Thank you so much for watching. And I spent my whole day sketching out all this math and doing all, like, this was an 8-hour shift to make this video. So the least you can do is please just like the video. And at the on the right side of your screen right now, there is a video you should absolutely click. If you don't click it, Then the next time you go out for fast food, the lines are going to be wrapped around the building.